Traeshon Holden is a player that has a big opportunity as he joins the Dallas Cowboys as a rookie. He started his career as a highly rated 4-star recruit at St. Francis Academy in Maryland before transferring to a high school in California. In college, he first played for Alabama, then transferred to Oregon, where he was coached by Junior Adams, who is now with the Cowboys.
One of the things I'm sure you're looking forward to is you get to reunite with your collegiate wide receivers coach and Junior Adams. What have your conversations been like with him up to this point, and how excited are you to get back to work with him?
Shoot, I'm very excited. He told me if he got the chance to come get me, he was coming to get me. So he know he got a dog. Yeah, I'm ready to make it happen. For sure.
What's your relationship been like with him over your time in college and now having a chance to grow that to the professional level?
It's me and his relationship is more than player coach. Like, I call him if I need something, just to talk to somebody. Like, me and we got a really good relationship, so it's good that we have it in the pros for sure.
Not getting drafted was a wake-up call for Holden. While he has good football skills, his behavior has been a problem both on and off the field. Now that he's with the Dallas Cowboys, he needs to prove two things: that he can play well at the next level and that he has grown as a person. His success will depend on staying focused, acting professionally, and making the most of his opportunity.
What are you looking to prove, not just for people, but for yourself here over the course of these next couple of days in minicamp?
Prove everybody wrong. Everybody. I'm coming for heads. For sure. That's it.
The Cowboys wide receiver room already has players like George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and Jalen Tolbert, which means that there will be tough competition. But with Holden, he has a real chance to prove himself come training camp. So let's analyze his skills and see what he can potentially bring this coming season. So on this play here, we want to see a wide receiver making big-time plays in crucial moments. Even though Holden's team was down by 10 points and eventually lost this game, he made an important touchdown that brought them within 3 points. This kind of performance in critical situations is exactly what we want to see from our players. So we go ahead and split it. So zooming on this play here, just watching Holden, he's attacking that middle of the defense. This is one of those players that is very big for the position, so you have to make sure you account for him. But locking in on the ball, the quarterback does throw it behind him, but he quickly contorts his body, spinning around and taking off. And it's so good to see this from this player, having that will, grit, and determination to get to the end zone and make things happen. And this was a player that was literally breaking tackles. It is not easy to score touchdowns from that position, especially when you're at the corner of the sideline with little space. And this was a player while playing at Alabama, playing at Oregon. There were a ton of wide receivers that was on both teams, so a lot of those wide receivers were getting playing time. But the good thing is, whenever this player got on the field, he capitalized on his opportunities. So it will be interesting to see if this player can make these big-time plays come preseason and training camp, because the better wide receivers, you gotta make plays when it really matters most. So it's good to see that this player has the ability to step up, get into position, and make magic happen. So this ended up being a dominant rep by Trayshon here. Here's a play when he was playing at Alabama. He was really good at running slant routes, and not only that, he was effective in the middle range of the field, about 10 to 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. And at both schools, he had good timing and could find open spaces between defenders. His big body helped him shield defenders and get open on these plays. So we'll go ahead and run it. So looking at this play here, just studying Holden's movements, that corner is playing so far off from him, and he's one of those players that uses that as leverage, slashing inside and shielding them off with his big body, catching the ball and getting across the end zone. And this is what you love to see when it comes down to a guy like Traeshon Holden. The slant routes, dig routes, any of those intermediate routes in the tree, this is how this player is going to make his money. And as far as his freshman season in 2020, he did see some playing time due to Jalen Waddle being injured, but he didn't make much noise in his first year, but he ended up having 570 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns in his next 2 seasons. There was a lot of talent over there at Alabama, and that's part of the reason why he ended up transferring, where he finished his college career with 82 catches, 1,170 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So it was definitely a better opportunity on that side. But seeing him running a slant route and doing everything he could to reach to the end zone was great to see by Trayshon. Here's some more receipts of him running a slant route and making a tough catch. This rep here is when he was at Oregon this past year. So locking on this play here, you see that corner he is still playing off, and you see with Holden he's winding up and running a quick slant. And with this player's route running ability, he does round off in a lot of his routes, as soon as he gets to the top of his breaks. That is something that he needs to work on. But catching the ball and that defender delivering a big-time blow. And those plays like that remind me of guys like Michael Gallup. You got to find those players with the ability to catch the ball, even though they know the defender is coming to blast them. This is how you can be a wide receiver to take that next step, setting that tone and getting the whole offense fired up. You got to love those wide receivers being tough out there and not looking scary. And with Holden, he definitely shows that he has that dog in him. Another thing I saw from Alabama and Oregon is his ability to get the ball in his hands quickly and get himself into position, slicing between defenders and having enough speed to score the touchdown. He's not the fastest athlete, but he does show that he can get separation from time to time and stress out these defenses. So we go ahead and spin it. So zooming in on Traeshon Holden, you see that he's lurking. He's getting the ball inside, but you can see with his route running, it's a little wide. You got to be snappier when it comes down to route running. But he gets into position again, locks in on green grass, and splits right in between the defense. This is why I love to be able to take time on these videos so I can show y'all the best film that's out there. This is what you have to do for this player to get him into a position to be successful, having enough speed to burn that Boise State defense. And with his size, he is that prototypical X wide receiver body type, and they lined him up a lot on the outside, but on certain plays, they did have him at the slot. It just depended on what play was being called. And as far as his hands, you will see some hand catching, you will see some body catching. So he's doing both of them, but as long as this player can be able to secure that ball. And he's also one of the players that is good at finding soft spots in zone coverages. You want to see it more consistently from him, but the film never lies. But this ended up being another dynamic play by Trayshon here. With a player like Holden at 6'3", 205 pounds, you can see that he does have some snap for his size on certain plays. He will run a corner route on this play, but he gets off the ball, making the cornerback think he's running a slant, then proceeds to take off downfield and run a nice corner route. It's good to see Holden playing chess out there while these corners are playing checkers. So let's run it. So zooming on this play here, just watching the movements from Holden, he's looking like he's stepping to get outside leverage, then slices inside. And you can see that he's really selling that slant route, forcing that cornerback to overthink. Then he quickly flips his hips, then takes off. And with that cornerback, he was absolutely beat right at the snap of the ball. You see that he has the ability to track the ball down and use those hands. This is what you want to see from your wide receiver. We see a lot of that from CeeDee Lamb, just finding ways to be able to put these guys in a blender and get them out of position. And with Dak Prescott, I have seen him throw some dots as far as these corner routes. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can bring this skill to the next level. And being with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, that's going to make this player even better at route running. So he's going to have to be that sponge and be ready to learn. But with this player having 5 touchdowns this past season and averaging 16 yards per catch, these corner routes as well as post routes had a lot to do with it. Now, as far as his athletic ability, he's not going to be that elite stop-start kind of player, but when he is at his top speed, he has enough in him to be able to separate. Being a good blocker is extremely important, especially if you're going to be seeing playing time on the field, not only at the wide receiver position, but special teams as well. His blocking ability is something I really like from this player, being physical and setting that tone. He did this at Alabama and Oregon, and hopefully this energy translates to the Dallas Cowboys. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, they're firing off the ball, but seeing him just going straight at that corner and just giving him a nice thud, knocking him back and continuing to wipe this player out the play. Now, as far as that wide receiver position, you want to see your wide receiver getting their hands inside and locking onto the defender. But if you can be able to wash a guy out of the play like that, that makes things easier for these ball carriers. And being in Shoddy's offense, not only do you have to be a player that can make big time plays, but if you're playing that wide receiver position, you have to be able to block as well. Because in this offense, they will run the ball a lot, trying to find ways to be able to set up play action, because that is what turns up Dak Prescott. And the good thing is, if this player does not make it out at the wide receiver position, special teams is always open. Being a player that can be able to block like that, when you got guys like Kevontae Turpin, all it takes is half a second. So this player has a huge opportunity out there. He's going to have to get this thing rolling. So in this final play here, Holden shows off his speed by beating the Ohio State defense on a post route for a touchdown. He clearly has talent to make big plays, but he needs to become more consistent overall. And that's just not on the field. That's off the field as well. It'll be interesting to see how he performs day one. So we go ahead and run it. So locking on this play here, this ended up being a bonus clip. I didn't want to show you guys this at first because I wanted to show you guys all new plays, but I really like this post route from him. But as you can see, he's winding off with his routes just like he did on those previous plays, but he still had that separation, tracking down the ball and scoring a 30-yard touchdown that absolutely broke this defense, Cowboys Nation. He is one of the players that will really excel at post routes, the corner routes, slant routes, finding ways to get this player the ball quickly so he can go out there and make a difference. He's going to have to consistently prove that he can beat man coverage more, but the film does show that he has what it takes to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how this player is going to start off for sure. So with Traeshon Holden, this is a player that has been through a lot on and off the field. Not being drafted this year could be that chip on his shoulder that keeps that fire burning. It won't be an easy path with having players like CeeDee Lamb there, Pickens, Tolbert. It's not always about when and where you were drafted. Do you have what it takes to be able to make a statement? So it'll be good to see how this all plays out with him going forward. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Traeshon Holden and who else do y'all want to see me break down just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, football family, talk to y'all soon. Gone.